Hey there, it's week 10 in fantasy football. Welcome back to the Guru. I'm Gil Walchuk.
I'm Jordan Fladell.
And I'm getting tired of having to say our names. Don't you think it'd be nice to have like an opening graphic and maybe some music?
It would be nice, but at this point, I just want to remind people who I am.
There you go.
Because they all know who you are.
Right. And we all know who the best player in the NFL is right now. He's a rookie. You want to talk about Adrian Peterson?
I do want to talk about Adrian Peterson. I think it's time we all recognize that this rookie running back is explosive. This guy gets to touch the ball 20, 30 times a game, and he may run 3 to 4 touchdowns, explode. It's amazing. I can't believe this guy lasted the 5th and 6th rounds in drafts. I feel embarrassed. The whole world feels embarrassed. If you own Adrian Peterson, you're a lucky man and probably on your way to a championship.
How about the 6 teams in the NFL that passed on him in the first round? What do you think Oakland would think about him having him in the backfield? Or Cleveland?
Cleveland. I saw a picture of him in a Cleveland jersey the other day. It looked pretty good.
Would have looked pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, so let's look at last week. How did we do? Jordan, how'd you do?
Last week on the QB side, hit on Hasselbeck and Breeze, missed on Rivers. On the running backs, hit on Lynch, Jones, and Portis, missed on Edge, though he did score a TD. On wide receivers, hit on Evans, hit on Holmes, had an average day on Roddy, and missed on Chambers. So not so bad. If you're picking what I'm picking, getting my advice, your advice, I think you're in good shape.
So let's hit the waivers. What's out there?
Well, quarterback side, I think you're looking at one player, J.P. Lousman, who gets the Dolphins. The Bills are a little resurgent. Get him this week, let him play this week, and then send him back down because I think the next 3 weeks they get like the Patriots, the Steelers, and the Redskins, and that's just going to be real tough for JP and the Bills to keep the momentum going. On the running back side, LJ's out with Priest Holmes in. You got Maurice Morris. He's the running back in Seattle. He'll be playing. Sean Alexander's dinged up. Wide receivers, tough category this week. No one's really hurt. Like Ted Ginn. With Chambers gone, the Dolphins have to figure out if Ted Ginn's the guy. So I think you'll see him in the lineup. I think you'll see the Dolphins throw a bit more. They're always going to be behind. Another rookie, since we're talking about rookies, is Sidney Rice. They started turning on with the Vikings. And at this point, what you're looking is store players on your roster who potentially, if you're in a keeper league, these are 2 guys you might want to get on your roster for next year. Finally, Lance Moore. If you're really reaching and you need an emergency wide receiver, the Saints are throwing the ball nearly 50 times a game. They play St. Louis this week. I'm not sure their ball is actually going to hit the ground.
All right. Great with the waiver wire. Who are some guys you like to plug in your lineup this week, Jordan?
Well, this week I'm putting Brett Favre in my lineup. He's my regular because he gets to play the Vikings, which is always a good thing because remember what the Vikings are? They don't play pass defense. Breeze and Bolger in the game that I'm calling out the shootout fest with the St. Louis-New Orleans game. And then you got Big Ben, who's simply on fire. You just can't put this guy in like 20 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Guy needs to play. At the running back position, keep Marshawn Lynch in your lineup. It's the other rookie no one else is talking about. If Adrian Peterson wasn't here, this guy would be Rookie of the Year. Ran for his first 100-yard games. He gets to play the Dolphins. This week, the Dolphins are 31st against the run.
That's only because there's only 32 teams in the league.
Well, that's true. Deshaun Foster is another guy I'd like to talk about. Deshaun Foster, who plays the Falcons. He loves playing the Falcons. He's had 400-yard games in his last 5. He's ran for 5 touchdowns. I put him in your lineup. And finally, if McGahee's healthy, get him in your lineup. I think there's this team called the Bengals playing this week in Baltimore.
Yeah, the only reason why the Dolphins are 31 in defense.
That's right. So at the wide receiver spot, I like Colston and all the Saints. Any Saint you own, put them in the lineup at the wide receiver spot. Jennings and Driver from Green Bay both go in the lineup. And I would even say you might look at putting James Jones in there if you're desperate because they're not going to be able to run the ball against the Vikings. And then finally, welcome back Deion Branch. Get him in your lineup. He's in Seattle. They're going to throw the ball because Mike Holmgren said, I can't run the ball.
All right, you're done. Okay. Jordan just talks and rambles on, and people say, we've gotten some feedback, like, what does Gil do besides toss stuff up to Jordan?
He doesn't need to ask feedback. I often wonder, what does Gil do?
So Gil's going to give you some picks this week. We're going to call them Gil's reasonable reaches. So we're going to look at guys that normally on a weekly basis would be outside of what we'd call starting ability, but because of matchups, they're guys to throw in. So on the quarterback, here's 2 guys I like. You mentioned one of them, J.P. Lossman, and the second guy is Jason Campbell. He had a great week versus the Eagles last time. There's a lot of injuries on the Eagles defense. I like him there. And I'm going to throw Cedric Benson out there. The Oakland defense in the last few weeks has been really porous against the run, and he needs to save his job. So
I actually think Cedric Benson is a good pick this week.
Yeah, thank you. Wow, I feel good. And last but not least, on the wide receiver side, here's a couple names to throw out. Who knows who the number 2 receiver is in New Orleans, but this week I think David Patton could have a good week against that Rams defense. I'm going to throw out Drew Bennett. You realize in week 8 before their bye, he had 6 catches for 83 yards. That was before the bye week. I think he and Bolger will connect. And last but not least, I don't know if you're going to start him, but I'm interested to see what Darrell Jackson does against his old team in Seattle. Last but not least, maybe let's talk about some guys that I'd shy away from this week because you'd look at matchups again. And this week, I'm shying away from Cleveland Browns. You might want to jump on Derek Anderson and Braylon Edwards and Kellen Winslow because they've been hot, and they have been. But this week, they go up to Pittsburgh, where they traditionally suck, and I think the Pittsburgh defense will hold them. Anybody else that you see out there you want to stay away from?
Well, I think you want to stay away from the Jaguar running game this week. They play against the Titans. No one runs against the Titans, so that's another place you just really don't want to go. I think when you're looking at teams, the games you want to avoid, I don't imagine you want to think about these guys, but I think it's time to bench Steve Smith, fellas. I think if Vinny Testaverde plays, this Falcons-Panthers game could actually be a 12-6 game. I actually stay away from all Eagles and all Redskins this week, because that's another game I see being 12-9. So there's some bad matchups and some really good ones out there.
All right, 12-6 is a lot of scoring in that game, I think. All right, let's go to our favorite segment, the Balls Call of the Week. Jordan, you're first.
Well, I'm going with my favorite criminal. He's Chris Henry. He's back this week. Almost got arrested so he wouldn't have to play, but he is going to play. I like it. He's your number 3 wide receiver in Cincinnati. I think Chris Palmer throws 2 bombs to him. He catches one of those 2 bombs, at least gets you a score.
Let me tell you, I get a lot of flack about Santonio Holmes, and he throws out a proven product that just is stoned all the time.
What's his statistics this year? What's Chris Henry got? 0 catches and 0 yards.
He's
that's
perfect.
a guy.
Anyway, here's my Balls Call, and I'm going deep. I'm taking Colby Smith. Who's Colby Smith? This week, he's backing up Priest Holmes. What does that mean? Well, I don't think Priest can get the ball 20-plus times, and if Kansas City's smart, or Herm Edwards is smart, he's going to find a way to run the ball 40-plus times. So Colby Smith, who backed up Michael Bush at Louisville and averaged 6 yards a carry, is going to get the ball against a really bad Denver team. So I'm going way out there with Colby Smith as my Balls Call of the Week. It's going to look like
he backed up Michael Bush at Louisville?
He did back up Michael Bush at Louisville.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I had deep in the archives to find it.
I'm impressed.
You no longer are the guru. Week 10's in the books. We're done here at Fantasy Football Guru. Have a great week. See you.